Hey, I'm Ernie from Homegrown Tomatoes. Today, it's getting springtime, just almost time to plant. Today I want to talk about raised beds. We got one set up here. There's several things you want to consider in selecting the place for your raised bed. It can be just about anywhere, but you do want to get it in a place where you have full direct sunlight for about 6 or 8 hours. You don't want to have it where you have roots, tree roots, or rocks. It's a good idea to till the area where you're going to have the raised beds, but it's not necessary because you're going to fill this area. You're going to use topsoil, compost, and maybe maybe a little sand.
What if you've got rocky ground, or you just want to put it right on top of what you got?
I wouldn't suggest planting in the rocky area. If you got tree roots or rocks, it'd be better to select another spot.
Okay. What about on top of grass, like out in the backyard?
Well, now that might be all right. Of course, you wouldn't have, unless you're going to till it up, you wouldn't have topsoil to throw in your bed, but you can get topsoil. You can buy topsoil or get it from another area. But
now you're using timbers here, but can you use something else?
Well, yes, you could use cement blocks, brick.
Just about anything to keep
4x4 timbers. Yeah, you can use just about anything to sort of wall it in.
Yeah.
This raised bed here is 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. That's a pretty good size for a raised bed. And you can have more than one raised bed. You can have any number really, but you need to have space between, or maybe 2 or 3 feet between the raised beds, so that you can get in and pull weeds if there are any, fertilize, water, and then harvest your fruit. And one thing you can do in getting topsoil, you can use topsoil right next to the bed on both sides for about 2 feet on both sides. Throw that into the bed, and then of course add your other components as well. Here I'm going to plant four rows of different vegetables. I'm going to plant maybe some beans, peas, beets, things low growing, things that don't bush out real well, because you have your rows about 1 foot apart.
Can you grow tomatoes in there?
Yes, you could. I'm using the cages, which are about 2 feet in diameter or so, and I think it would be wouldn't be enough room there. So I'm going to put my tomatoes in the other part of the garden, not in the raised bed.
But let's say you were growing bush tomatoes or determinate tomatoes. Would that be okay?
Sure, that'd be fine. Of course, they'll tend to bush out and take up space. So that's what you have to decide if you want to plant 3 rows or 4 rows or 2 rows, such as that. So use up your space.
Right.
Well, let's talk about the advantages of raised beds. One thing, it's a smaller area. You can work from both sides. If you have weeds, you can pull the weeds out. It's very easy to water. You can either use a hose and water the garden, or you can use weeper hoses, which you leave in there, and they'll stay in there for the whole time. You just have to water them every day or 2 hours, much according to the temperature, and easy to harvest the fruit when that time comes. You don't walk in your garden area there. You work from the sides so you don't compact the soil. You have plenty of depth too for the vegetables to put out roots.
So basically, you want to add. You want it to be easily accessible, so you don't have to step in it.
Yes.
To all of your plants.
Right. You don't compact your soil. soil in your garden. That's right.
How deep do they need to be?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I ain't decided. I'm gonna use mine two timbers deep, 1 or 2 timbers deep. One would be 4 inches, the other two would be 8 inches. So I'm not sure just how much depth I'll need so far. But either 4 inches or 8 inches would be fine.
Is it because you're not sure which kind of plant?
That's right. I ain't decided just which one I'm gonna put in the raised bed. Yeah, I know I'm gonna plant my tomatoes outside the raised bed and also squash because the squash does well in other areas. Oh, it could be in the raised bed too. I have a squash gets pretty broad in the leaves, and so it'll take up a lot of room in the raised bed.
So squash is not a great plant for a raised bed.
That's the way I feel it is.
So let's say for the 4-inch one timber that you just mentioned, what would be good to plant in a 4-inch raised bed, deep, 4-inch deep?
Well, beans, peas, beets, some other vegetables.
Herbs.
Okra.
How about herbs?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great for a herb garden.
Broccoli, cauliflower,
Yes, indeed.
carrots,
Yeah,
radishes,
yeah.
and onions. What about for 2 timbers where it's 8 inches deep? What would be best for that? What kind of plants?
Well, actually, it'd be fine for any plants, but they just give you more depth. But any plant that's going to put out deep roots, of course, it would be better to have 8 inches. But most of your summer garden plants they have shallow roots, and so 4 inches probably would be adequate for those.
So for potatoes, what about potatoes?
Well, potatoes now, you might want to go a little deeper, maybe 8 inches deep with potatoes.